Thank you all for being here. I'm Assistant Chief M.J. Harris with the Greensboro Police Department. I asked you all to come to the park today so we could give you an update about the events that unfolded yesterday evening with the shooting that occurred here. I will ask you all to please hold all of your questions until all of the speakers are done, and then we'll take questions. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Assistant Chief Austin, who oversees the Investigative Bureau, and he'll be able to provide you with a case update.
Good morning, everyone, and I would also like to thank everyone for coming. I'm Rick Austin, the Assistant Chief over the Investigative Bureau at the Greensboro Police Department, and I'm here today to talk about some events that happened yesterday. And it's kind of difficult to stand up here and talk about this, and you're going to see once I explain to you what happened. This is a difficult situation, so please bear with me. Yesterday on the 15th, around 6:30, officers responded to this park in reference to a shooting. When they arrived, they located two victims that were suffering from gunshot wounds. And one of those victims was a 4-year-old child that was suffering from several gunshots. The officers that arrived, they provided life-saving measures until EMS arrived and provided more life-saving measures before the child and the adult, and then they were transported to the hospital for more treatment. And after that, we was able to develop a possible suspect in this crime, and through the investigation and the assistance from the Violent Crime Reduction Team, we was able to arrest Brian Solomon, and he was charged with 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury, going armed to the terror of the public, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. And what I will say is, the reason why this is difficult is you have a 4-year-old that was shot in this very park that we're in. This is a park that has been a staple of this community, the old Asheboro community, the Gore Street community. I'm from Greensboro. I even played in this park when I was younger. And a 4-year-old was in the park like kids are supposed to be, with their family, and where we're supposed to have community events. But I'm here to talk about senseless acts of violence that are occurring against a 4-year-old. And what I will tell you is, I want to stand here today and I want to thank the community, because the community stood with the Greensboro Police Department yesterday and said enough is enough. I'm not going to accept this type of violence in our community and at this park, and especially when it comes to a 4-year-old. So the community stood with us, and we were able to partner with the community, and we was able to make an arrest yesterday. And that is huge, because we can't do anything without the community. The police department can't function, we can't solve crimes without the community. But the child is still in the hospital. I don't want to give a lot of details about the injuries because I'm not a doctor, but if it's saying anything, the child is still in the hospital. And that's something we all should think about. That's the seriousness of that this should never happen anywhere. And the trauma, even when the child recovers from the injuries, and we're praying and we're standing with the family, hoping that this child recovers from these injuries, there's still that trauma. Even when this child, if he recovers from the injuries, the child still has to deal with the fact that I suffered gunshot wounds in a park that I was here to play in with my family and have a good time. And this child has to deal with that for the rest of their lives. A 4-year-old. Tell me something that a 4-year-old has done to anyone besides play. So that's why I stand here today, and I appreciate everyone coming, and I appreciate the community. I can't say that enough about the support that we got from the community yesterday. They made all this happen by working with us to make sure that the person that showed blatant disrespect for public safety when you shoot into a park is going to be held accountable for his actions. Thank you. And at this time, I would like to introduce the Assistant Manager of Public Safety, Andrea Harrell.
Good morning. I'll be brief. I think Assistant Chief Alston pretty much said everything that you all needed to hear this morning. Again, my name is Andrea Harrell. I'm the Assistant City Manager of Public Safety for the City of Greensboro. I first want to acknowledge all of the hard work that it took to get this person into custody so quickly. I think that is a real testament to our police department, our Parks and Rec department, and the city as a whole. Our Parks and Rec team has a great working relationship with the police department, and that is one of the ways we were able to get this case under control and under arrest so quickly. That said, anyone in the community, if you see something in a park, in any city space, in any community space whatsoever, please do not hesitate to speak up. Call the police department, call 911. These officers are here to assist, to respond, and to make sure they can address any concerns immediately. Thank you all for being here. We do have another speaker here, our division manager for our Office of Community Safety. They handle violence prevention in our community. Aaron Williams is here to make a couple of remarks. Thank you.
Good morning. As Andrea mentioned, my name is Aaron Williams. I'm the division manager for the Community Safety Department. The city's Community Safety Department focuses on improving public safety through community-centered initiatives. We have a number of initiatives designed to help residents with mental health concerns, addiction, and homelessness. As Andrea mentions, our department does also house the city's violence prevention and GSO Peace on Purpose initiative. We support several nonprofit violence interruption groups as they do on-the-ground work, targeting individuals, focusing on individuals who are most at high risk of being victims or perpetrators of violence. In addition, our goal is to build a community collaboration of everybody in the community who wants to focus on violence reduction and prevention. We all have a role to play. As Assistant Chief Alston mentioned, it takes a community, whether it's nonprofits, faith leaders, government officials, citizens. We all have to come to the table in order to reduce crime in our city. And next, I'm turning it over to Councilwoman Hightower.
Thank you very much. So good morning. I am Councilwoman Hightower. I represent District 1 in the city of Greensboro. Dr. Goldie Wells, who actually represents this district, District 2, apologizes. She had a previous engagement, but she would be here. I also want to acknowledge one of my colleagues that is here, Councilwoman Mary Kay Abuzawada, who is here as well. We as council members certainly support the efforts here, but we absolutely push to have great parks in our community. Neighborhood parks are an asset that grow neighborhoods, stabilize community. And this is a place where our children should come and play and not have to worry and be in fear of anything happening to them. When I heard of this yesterday, I immediately thought about my own grandchild at 17 months old. I want to be able to say to her, go to a park, have a good time, swing on a swing. But yesterday was absolutely senseless. I don't know what could have entered anybody's head to think that shooting toward a park was a smart idea. It absolutely was not. I don't care what you're mad about, what your goal was. That is no reason to be reckless and irresponsible. That was a horrible act on yesterday. Thankfully, we are not here talking about a worse tragedy that we could imagine. The child is in the hospital, and we're grateful and prayerful for him and his recovery. But this will be a long-lasting impact on him, both mentally and physically. And this family and this mother will have to think about in years to come, do I let my child go to a park anymore? How would anybody feel about that? So I'm telling you, we got to stop this. We talk about stopping the violence, but we have to stop doing foolish things. Yesterday was totally foolish and should never, ever happen in a community like this. Look around at this park. Isn't it beautiful? It's a beautiful place to come and be for children. And everyone, come read a book, swing on a swing, enjoy the atmosphere. And yesterday really was a horrible tragedy. But I am thankful to the police who immediately got on it. But I also want to say to the community, thank you, because you knew something and you said something. And you say enough is enough. We're not going to tolerate this anymore. And we will continue to work together. Thank our city manager, our police department, our Parks and Rec staff. We put, who put a lot of effort into making sure this was solved on yesterday. Look how quick that was on yesterday. We can continue to do that. So I say to the community, if you know something, say something. Because together, we can solve anything. We cannot do it alone. We need you to work with us and be with us, because we all live here together and we want the best quality of life that we deserve. Thank you. Next, we will have our city manager, Nathaniel Trey Davis.
Thank you and good morning. I first want to say thank you to all of the leaders that you cannot see on camera. So our Mayor, Nancy Vaughn, and our Mayor Pro Tem, you just heard from our city council member, also the number of community leaders that are here, our victim advocates that work in a way that you all don't see either. But as one of your city leaders, I want to make a call to my partners in the judicial system, my partners in other areas that can help us in situations like this. Today is not a day that we ever want to repeat again. Our parks are spaces that we promote as family-oriented. Our parks are spaces that we want to continue to build on. And so we want to take a stand today. One, tell our community that we're here for you. You've heard from a number of leaders and the action that our police officers and our community took. But again, we want to say to our community that we're here, but we also want to say that this is a type of violence that we will not stand for. This is the type of violence that I, as a leader, call on my other leaders that can help do something about these type of acts in our community, and we will not stand for it. Thank you. Also, I want to ask Mayor Nancy Vaughn to come up.
Good morning. I want to echo a lot of what Councilwoman Sharon Hightower said. I think she hit all the high points and why this thing was just so distressing yesterday. But that child is alive by the grace of God and the skill of our healthcare workers. This could have been a completely different tragedy. That child will have to deal with memories of today for the rest of his life, but we're pleased that he has a life to live. A huge thank you, a huge debt goes out to the healthcare workers who see this type of violence day in and day out. I know it impacts them as well. I think that our team did a great job. Wonderful shout out to police, the community, and Parks and Recreation. I hope that we'll continue to see these organizations work together so that we can have a quick resolution to all shootings. Just like Mrs. Hightower said, if you see something, say something. That is just so important. So again, a huge shout out to our healthcare workers for the great skill that they give us every single day. Thank you.
Now I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can, but I just want to remind everyone that the situation is still, even though we have arrested someone, is still currently under investigation.
Any idea what led up to this, what the motive was in the shooting?
Yeah, all that is still under investigation also.
Can you tell us if they knew each other by any chance, the victim and the shooter?
Yeah, that's another aspect that we're still trying to work through also. That's under investigation.
So it was two suspects, the child and an adult, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it was two victims.
Okay.
Two victims.
Thank you. Are they related in any capacity?
To my knowledge, they are not.
And I know you talked a lot about the child, but for both of them, I know you can't go into detail, but are they in critical condition? Are they stable? Is there anything that you can give us on that, on both of them?
I do know the child was treated yesterday, and the child still has a long road of recovery to go, from what I'm hearing. And we haven't gotten any updates, and we want to make sure that the updates that we do get from the child, about the child, is coming from a medical professional at the hospital.
You said both of them had multiple gunshot wounds. Any idea how many shots were fired in this whole situation?
So, and we're still trying to determine that too. That's still under investigation, but it wasn't one gunshot. The gun was fired several times.
And I know that you talked a lot about the community. How important is it for you all to continue to do that work because they were able to speak up and get someone in custody?
Oh, it's critical. And I encourage that. That is very important, that when something bad happens, well, and I wouldn't say when something bad happens, it's important that we create that bond with the community before something bad happens. When nothing is going on, we need to make sure that we are bonding with the community so we can come together if we need each other. And I can't say it enough that we can't solve crimes without the community. And I encourage everyone in the community, if you see something, say something, call Crime Stoppers. If you don't want to talk directly to a police officer, call Crime Stoppers. But that connection that we have with the community is extremely important.
Where was the suspect arrested, and about how long after the incident was he arrested?
So I don't want to disclose exactly where he was arrested at, because that's still under investigation. But I will say that the violent crime reduction team probably had him in custody, after doing some investigative measures, probably within 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours after the incident.
Was he in the park, in a car? Where were these shots fired from? If you can kind of give us a location since we're out here.
Yeah, so if you, so I want to point towards Douglas Street. The car was coming down Douglas Street when the shots were fired.
And the suspect was in the car when the shots were fired?
Yes.
Okay. And where was the child and the adult that were hit?
Now that I'm not sure. I know they were in the park in some location in here. I'm not sure exactly where they were.
So could we say that he was driving, like it was a drive-by, or was it more he stopped his car and then he just started shooting?
Now that I'm not sure exactly if the car was still in motion or he stopped when the shots were fired, and that's still under investigation also.
The name of the suspect, Brian Solomon, have you dealt with this individual before? Does he have a criminal history?
Yes, he does have a history. And he does have a history of violence also.
I was going to say, in what capacity have you dealt with him in the past?
We've dealt with him with acts like this, with shootings. So he has been through the court system for acts similar to this.
How old is he?
I'm not sure of that.
Stuff like this, obviously, you don't want to see them. To the community, I know that you're saying, we're coming together, we're going to work to not let this happen again. So what do you do to not let this happen again?
Well, I think one thing we have to do is we try to increase the police presence in the area. And I mentioned the violent crime reduction team several times. This particular unit is responsible for addressing gun violence, violent offenders. So that's one step to holding individuals accountable. And we also have a crime gun intelligence center that does an excellent job with following up on different shootings into occupied dwellings. So we do have measures, and I think community watch, any type of community action we can do, like when I say, if you hear something, say something. If you see something that's strange that's going on, or if you're in the park and you see some things that's not right, call us.
All right, thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it.
Was this a random act of violence, or was it targeted?
That's still under investigation, sorry.
Council Lady, you seemed very upset about this. What is it anger? We're in a beautiful park on a Friday morning, right before the summer, and we're talking about some of the worst things that could be happening. How angry does this make you that we have to do this?
It makes me very angry. Any violence makes me angry because it's not needed. That is not a solution to any problem. I don't care what your problem is. That's not a solution, gunfire. But when gunfire now reaches the point that it's impacting children that are in a park just to play, I'm absolutely angry. And I think I am aligned with the community who is also angry about this and cause them to also speak up and say, no more. You're not going to come in this community, in this beautiful space that we have planned for recreation, and disrupt it. Think about the life of this family now, the mother, the other children, the health care expenses she's going to have to encounter because somebody was reckless and a blatant disregard for community and safety. If you're mad about something, go over in a corner and have that discussion. But don't come out in public and start aiming a gun that you think is going to fire. Just think about if that bullet had hit a tree and ricocheted and really did some damage. The damage that he did was already bad enough, but this could have been worse. We could actually be talking about planning a final goodbye. We don't want that to ever be the case. And so, yes, I'm very upset about this, and I want to see that justice is served. Community deserves justice, and we will make sure that it happens.
Sharon, what's your hope for the summer?
That is peaceful, it's beautiful, it's relaxing. That's my hope. We are just now beginning summer. School is about to get out. Parks and Rec does wonderful programs for our children to come out in parks, and we feed in the parks as well during the summertime to make sure our children have something to eat while they're out here enjoying themselves. So I want it to be peaceful, serene, relaxing, enjoyable, and fun. We should be having fun. We shouldn't have to be talking about this today.
Yeah, I just want to add that we are very fortunate that this was not a mass shooting, which would have caught national headlines. Our police department has done really good work about lowering our crime statistics, and that is something that we're proud of. But what happened yesterday, that is really unconscionable. You can't really give somebody an excuse they were mad or they were upset. Well, you have to deal with your emotions. And it is my understanding that this is somebody who was already out on a gun charge. We need to make sure that this person is held accountable and that will be put in jail so he cannot do this again.
Absolutely.
What is your message? Like you said, there are a lot of programs that happen in the summer. I've done stories where they come out, kids are playing. So what is your message to parents now, or just anybody who comes to the park and might be stressed about bringing their kids here?
Well, I'm a grandmother just like Sharon is, and I am going to encourage my family not to let this deter what they do. We cannot let one person change plans for a summertime. We have a great Parks and Recreation department. They'll do what they need to do to look at safety, but we can't let this be the norm. We can't let this change our lives.
Absolutely, and I absolutely agree with that. My little grand just learned how to slide down a slide, and so she needs to come in these parks and have that kind of fun. And so, no, I'm not going to let the word I really want to say I can't put on TV, but I'm not going to let that individual stop us from enjoying life, okay? We're going to see that he's held accountable so they can come back out and do this again, but we're going to make sure our community knows that parks are your place to come in your neighborhood, where they are designed for that. And so, yes, one person did something idiotic, I'll say. But it's not going to make us just turn away from our Parks and Rec. No, we're going to support them, be here, and enjoy them. And that's what I'll tell my family, my daughter.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you.